Here at the Giver Marketing Network, we don't leave you drifting out in space. We connect you to a coach who will help you build and grow your marketing business. Our process acts as a guide on how to connect with other businesses, maintain good relations, and establish a presence on the Giver Marketing Network. Each member within this collaborative group will have the opportunity to leverage your talent and influence, a true network effect. If you are looking to collaborate on more projects, welcome to the Giver Marketing Network.
How are you doing, bud? As we jump in, anything, any good news to share? Thank you for popping in some amazing branding pieces within even the presentation here. As we continually improve, everybody, we're always improving, right?
Always, yep. If you're not growing, you're dying. That's what I like to say.
All right. Well, good. With that challenge,
Yeah.
let's rock and roll, man.
Let's do it.
And I'm Timothy Morgan, founder, CEO of Giver Marketing. Corey Michael, our branding efficiency specialist. He's really a dynamic coach that's rocking and rolling, and really kind of a team coordinator, starting to develop a network here, Corey, and just really excited about that, of marketing freelancers who are knocking on our door asking to be a part of something special. Corey, I know you and I have had some conversations about, there's a big push out there to generate as many leads as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like we need to dive into this a little bit more today, because there's a bit of confusion about what's the most important piece of your marketing. And I would argue that, I know we're starting with arguing, but I would contend that leads are actually pretty easy to come by. What might be more difficult is those conversations that are meaningful, right? I mean, do you have any thoughts on that as we jump into the blueprint today?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that in the end, leads don't matter if you can't adequately, confidently, consistently show your potential clients and customers who you are and what you do and how you are going to help them. Because remember, it's all about what's in it for me. That's what everybody wants to know. What's in it for me? And so when you have the opportunity to generate a conversation with somebody, however that comes in, whether it's an ad or one of your LinkedIn strategies or whatever it may be, conversation is the very first place to start, because that's how you get lasting customers. That's how you get lasting clients. That's how you begin to develop relationships, power partnerships. The power of conversation really is an undervalued one. And one of the things that we like to talk about, Tim, you and I have talked about even more recently, and for all those watching this morning, is that everything we're going through today helps you have the conversation with folks. And then when you get the leads, you can have the confidence to be able to handle them. Right. So that's kind of what I think you're alluding to there.
Yeah. And I would say also that these conversations are more long-term than maybe a lead coming into your inbox. You have to obviously work at developing these conversations, but that's what we're going to talk about today. So I just wanted to touch on that just for a minute and kind of jump in here. Hey, we are a coaching network. We're known for our coaching. We're the highest rated, reviewed network of marketing coaches and specialists on the planet. So we just want to make it really clear that we're here today to serve you. We're here to lift you up, to take you to another level. Just like a professional athlete might have a coach that says, "Hey, let's help you in this one area." We're here to help you with your marketing. Okay. Our tribe is the most trusted network of marketing specialists, like I just mentioned. You can check out our reviews online. We love the kind words. And those who go through our master classes, we do ask that you give some kind of feedback or kind words online that would that would show that you're a raving fan, and we just really appreciate that. Corey will put something in the chat box, or I will later. It's givermarketing.com/review. If you'd like to say some nice words. And these are some nice words that others have said. Things like, hey, it's like unlike anything I've ever come across before. Love the education first approach. The Giver marketing team has tripled our business with very little expense using social networking. We've dug in quite deeply with some of these valued clients over the years. Some have been with us for years and years and years, and they just continue to walk this journey together because we have core principles and values that they align with. They really enjoy the fact that there's a generosity component. We love giving back. We hold a portion of our finances to the side for a matching grant. We do some tracking of results and just making sure that the results are where they need to be. Efficiency, good attitude, and transparency is all a part of who we are and how we function, which is a little different than your typical marketing agency, just to be really direct. It's just a different experience. So who benefits from the live online master class, Corey? I mean, let's talk about this for a second.
Yeah. Well, something that this is a quote that floats around all over the place out there, right? Are you hungry to grow? Are you coachable? Are you passionate? And that really is important, because those three kind of intrinsic core values that you have, even if you wouldn't call those your business core values, they may be personal core values, just who you are. Those lend themselves to learning new ideas, to collaborating efficiently and have fun while doing it, while collaborating. It lends itself to being more communicative through the process of whatever it is that you're doing, and that's the kind of that people we just really vibe with. to be quite honest, we don't really just. I think I need to give a little bit of a disclaimer here, Tim, that today on this training, we're going to be real with everybody, that some of the things are going to be a little bit more direct, and because we want you to know, truth. And there's a lot of fluff out there. There's a lot of people that claim that they're experts on marketing and all that. We don't claim that, or we're going to talk about something a little bit here. We are doing our part to try to help as many people as possible using a proven framework. And so I felt like I needed to just say that part here, because people that aren't hungry, coachable, and passionate, we're not really interested in working with, because that is a part of who we are, and that's the kind of people that we know benefit from this kind of training.
This is the fuel, right? I mean, this is the actual drive that helps us succeed in many areas of our business and life, and especially as we're embarking on entrepreneurship of some kind and starting things and growing entities. I can't help but remember that Dave Ramsey says that he doesn't work with people unless they're hungry and humble.
Mm-hmm.
I also heard somebody recently say, humility is a weapon. And I'm like, whoa, this is like, there's a pattern emerging here in my mind about people that are really great to work with. So, hey, if you're frustrated with marketing that doesn't produce expected results, you're in the right place. Let's just get nitty gritty with it. This is not your typical webinar where we're trying to pitch a bunch of things. We're just trying to give you value, just trying to give you something that's going to alleviate some of that frustration and help you. Let's start with a quote from Bob Berg, Corey. I mean, this book, Go Giver, was a big influence on us, and even the name of our company. All things being equal, we do business with people we know, like, and trust, right?
Yep.
And I would say it's also important to note that we pay more to people we respect. And so there's kind of a second level of that. So we want to at least start with people knowing who we are, liking us, trusting us to some degree, and then we can go from there. All right, so let's jump into the blueprint. Here's the story behind the blueprint. After coaching, collaborating with thousands over the last decade, a pattern emerged that really just came from sheer volume of consulting and helping others. It became a roadmap for not only our company, but for others who wanted to learn the signature process. And that's what we're going to go through today: branding, visibility, promotion, and nurturing. Let's define marketing as we jump in here. Is marketing the same as sales, Corey? Is that sales and marketing? Are they the same exact thing? Are they related? Like what? Let's talk about this for a second.
They are related, but they are not the same. A lot of people get that confused. A lot of organizations, to be quite frank, there's a lot of businesses that mix sales and marketing into one department when really they have different functions, different roles. And it is the sales is the actual conversation to make a transaction, but the marketing is the conversation, right? We were talking about conversations earlier. Marketing is the conversation that leads you to the transaction, or as we say it on this screen here, it's the pre-sale strategy and communication. So you look at this funnel here we made. Everybody loves a good funnel, right? Branding is at the top, and it goes down into visibility, promotion, nurturing. At the bottom of that funnel is where the sales funnel begins, because then there's a whole different this is a great little depiction of what it looks like. That marketing, if you're into football or you see here, marketing gets you into the red zone, sales gets you to the end zone. I think this is a brilliant way of describing it that we found here. So yeah, they're for sure related, but not the same, and it's important to keep that in mind.
Little pet peeve of mine, if you don't mind, Corey, can I vent for just a second?
Do it.
All right, so prospecting is technically marketing, not sales, even though.
Explain that. Why do you say that?
Well, as we reach out to prospective clients, we're prospecting. Think of like a gold prospector, right? Going out looking for something. That is just the exploration phase of the journey. The actual culmination of what needs to happen happens after the initial phases of marketing or outreach or prospecting. And so prospecting really is in that marketing bucket, if you want to think of it that way. We also like to think of it, sorry, I'm a sports guy. I was a college athlete, so I end up with all these analogies that start flooding in. If marketing gets you to the green, then sales helps you just pop the ball in the hole there, right? When it comes to playing golf or those kind of games. So listen, branding is your domain, Corey. I just really want to kind of honor you and your genius and ask you to help us dive into this first pillar, this first piece, this first step of the signature process. How do we even distinguish branding from marketing? How does this work?
Yeah. Well, a lot of people think that your brand is your logo, which for a number of reasons, right? There are companies out there that put your brand on anything, promotional products, things like that. Unfortunately, that gets confusing for a lot of people, and they think I need to work on my brand, and what they mean is I need to work on my logo. But your brand is not just your logo. Marketing is, as a whole, is communication, right? It's communication, conversation, but branding, your brand is the entire experience that people have with you and your company. It is how they feel when they experience you. It is how they think when they experience you. It is how likely they are to refer you to somebody. It is you knowing and being confident in what your mission and your vision and your core values are. It is the nurturing process is part of it. How do you communicate with people? What is your style? What is it? I like to say this: we don't know what it's like to be on the other side of us because we are us. So it's important to get an outside perspective on what it's like to interact with us so that our brand is reflective of what we're trying to do and who we are trying to reach. That really is how I would nuance branding within the marketing scope. There's a particular kind of branding as you are developing yours. Maybe you've had it for a long time. Maybe you've had your logo and you know your core values and your mission. You know all those kinds of things. Or maybe you're a startup and you're trying to figure it all out. This is the place to start. It's called sensory branding. It is thinking about what leaves an impression in every single area of your marketing process and all throughout your business. So what can you do that engages with our five senses, right? That's how we learn the best. That's how we remember things. Sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch, right? So with the sight, so okay, this is the logo part. This is 1/5 of the pieces here, folks. Sight, having good looking images and texts and fonts, and not, for the love of God, using Comic Sans or papyrus in your font, just or in your logo.
Okay,
just
now you're nerding out. This is
I
good.
know. Most people will know what those two are, though.
Okay, all right.
But using things that look good, have a modern feel, and it's okay to redo your logo every once in a while, because again, that's not your brand. That is a piece of the puzzle that needs to make sense during the different times. So having something that looks good, a website look good, having your business cards look good, right? Sound, okay. When you're having a call like we're on today and you're doing business meetings, this is the norm at the time of this recording. Zoom meetings are very normal. Can people hear you? Can people, do you sound garbled because you have a crappy microphone, or do you sound clear and concise, right? What is that like for the people on the other side of you? Smell, when we can have, events again, or if you can have in-person meetings again, personal hygiene is important. That sounds like a funny one to talk about personal hygiene in regards to marketing, but it is true. I have met with people before that could have stood for a shower in the morning before we met. But even beyond just the personal hygiene, if you think about events, pumping. Okay, I'll just use a funny example. There was a church that I worked with, and they wanted to create this experiential thing at Christmas time. And so I suggested to them to pump Christmas tree smell into the air vents, and it created, because they only had fake trees, and so it created this Christmas time smell, and people remember it. And it was awesome. Or maybe it's an event where you just have food, right? That's part of it. Speaking of food and taste. If you ever go to any kind of party or event, wherever there is food, that is the first place. The food place or the bar are the two places that people go to first, which is a natural congregation area, for people to go to, a great place to meet prospects. But providing the taste aspect as well is really important. And then touch, appropriate handshakes, high fives, pats on the back, hugs, side hugs, whatever it may be, not being afraid to be generous with your gestures. This is all part of your brand. And so if you think for a second, when I go to a place, or if I host something or whatever it may be, am I creating a sensory experience? Because at the end of the day, you want to ask, am I memorable? That's what it is really about. It is being genuine and memorable. That's what the sensory brand process. And you can think about Disneyland. I love talking about Disneyland. It's a fun place, obviously. But even if you've only ever been once in your life and it was when you were 5, you remember what it was like to be at Disneyland.
Great point.
You remember all of those memory enhancers. And then with video, as you're thinking through how to have this sensory experience, this is just kind of a little tidbit for y'all that video is at least 5 times, but I've seen statistics all the way up to as much as 50 times more effective than pictures or auditory experiences alone. Meaning that as you begin to put the word out there, as you begin to explore and find your voice on social media, using video is a powerful tool and way to connect with people, because it's about the connection. People can see the live interaction happening, even if it's a pre-recorded thing. People can see the facial expressions, can hear the tone of voice, can be a part and be drawn in even more. By 2021, it's expected that 80 to 85% of content that's consumed online is going to be video based, and that's an incredible marketing opportunity in a number of different ways that we need to make sure that we're taking advantage of. And then there's this thing called authority branding. So this is basically becoming and being an authentic industry expert while associating with other credible influencers. So what does this mean? It means that you know your stuff. You do your best to educate people, to help people, to become an authority in your field, in your industry, on social media, not by saying you are, but showing you are, by offering valuable content that shows that you are trying to help people
Wait
with
a minute. Say that one more time, Corey. Not by what?
being and becoming an authority in your branding is not about saying you're an authority, but showing that you are.
That's good.
So
good.
a way that actually comes across, and this is going to be counterintuitive to some of you perhaps watching this today, but you don't have to have all the answers and all the information. There are people out there, maybe some of them are competitors, maybe some of them are power partners in your industry, whatever it may be, that can lend an equally valuable voice to the conversation that you can leverage. You can post other people's articles. You can, reshare posts, giving proper credit. But if you feel that you have to be the only voice that promotes any kind of authority in your field, then my encouragement to you would be to take a deeper look at your overall sensory branding, who you are, because it sounds like there is a little bit of fear involved there that is making it so that you feel like you can't post anybody else for fear of them taking some of your clients. And so don't be afraid to leverage your friends and leverage your power partners and people that you trust to share something and reshare it. That is how you become an authority, when you are seen as, oh, this person doesn't have it all figured out. They're okay to bring in other voices as well.
So we're big fans, and I know Corey is someone who does this on a daily basis, of limiting that fear component and the insecurity component, and just walk in your genius. Whatever place you're at, just walk in that strength. Walk with others who've gone before you that have done maybe a little bit more or had some more experience behind them, and walk in the kind of the authority that you have in your brand. Don't try to copy somebody else's, right? Just be you, but be the best and laser focus you can be, and that'll work out pretty good. All right, so visibility. By the way, Corey, Vicky is on the masterclass today. She has graced us with her presence. Woo! And so if we get a chance to maybe get her thoughts on a couple of these things, that would be great. But go for it, man. What do you got?
Yeah, so, well, I want to give the opportunity to Vicky here, because we call her Visibility Vicky, folks. She is part of our team here, and she's really the driver behind what we're going to talk about here. Vicky, can you chat for a second?
Sure. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Vicky.
Good morning. I just got back from a walk. Sorry.
No worries. Totally organic and transparent. Love it.
Love it.
That's right.
So tell us about the visibility, the importance of visibility, Vicky, and then we'll talk a little bit about the scan.
Oh, absolutely. I love visibility. Visibility, this is a foundational product. This is something that absolutely is groundwork has to happen. It's similar to the Yellow Pages from days gone by. And if you want to get found and have confidence with Google and your clients, this is a really easy tool to get that done, to create consistency in your message. And whether or not you have your website yet or not, you just put your name, address, phone number out there. Google matches with 45 other top level directories, and you are singing.
Yeah, and what I love what Vicky has done is she has given us this tool that you can go to givermarketing.com/visibility. Timothy will put it into the chat for us, so you can go and do this free directory scan and enter in your business name and details and see how it is currently being viewed across the interwebs. So Vicky mentioned that it scans dozens of directories. And if you have inconsistencies in, addresses or phone numbers or anything like that, it'll actually show you what is inaccurate information, so you know that you can go and fix it. You can either do it personally, and that's great, or we're not pitching anything, but it is something that we can fix for you. But this, more than anything, is just to be an educational tool to help you see how you're being listed online and where you're being listed online. So thank you, Vicky, for putting that together for us. The other thing I'll say about visibility is you want to be found whether people are actually looking for you or not. You want to be able to be seen across not just the directories, but social media platforms, right? That's a huge one. So Tim, if you could go back a slide. the previous. There we go. There are a number of different places that I call digital real estate that you can own, right? So your website is I would say one of the most important pieces to have, because you own it. It is something you can do whatever you want with. You can collect leads, you can have forums, you can do all these things, whereas everything else, the Google My Business, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Yelp, all these places, they're free, which is incredible, but you don't own the platform. You have to work within their scope. A lot of them have flexibility for a lot of different things, but it's important to remember that, one, you should be on it. And if you ask, I get the question all the time, Tim, is, hey, should I be on this platform? And my answer is always, well, are potential clients there? If the answer is yes, then yes, you should be there. That doesn't mean that you need to be actively working all of these platforms, because we don't all have time to be able to do that. We always say start with 2 and dominate. So, start with the 2 that you're most comfortable with. But it is so incredibly important to be visible across these types of directories and platforms. And the tool that we mentioned, that Vicki talked about, and the importance of that is key to your business's marketing potential.
I love it. And, obviously, Corey, there's so many different platforms and different directories and different places to be found online. We can't list them all here, but
right. Some
of these, if you want to take a screenshot, are almost every business we work with needs to be on these platforms right here. There are some exceptions, but 99% of the businesses, we've worked with thousands of organizations, causes, and companies across the world, all over and almost every one of them need to consider these platforms. So thank you, Corey, for putting kind of this part of this list together. And thank you, Vicki, again, for helping us be found with these visibility tools and kind of assess where we are. 89% of people go online before making a buying decision. So that's almost 9 out of 10. And if we really are in business to help people, and we don't want to be the best kept secret in town, we have to get visible, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Good. So try for a 0 error rate on this tool that we've made available. Some companies will charge hundreds of dollars for this tool. We made it available to you, so we want to bless you with that. I'll just talk about Google reviews real quickly, Corey, so we can kind of rock and roll through some of this. But in relation to visibility, there are tools out there that just help you get more reviews. Like, for example, we just put a link in our live chat box here that includes an easy way for you to give us some kind words online. And we're literally using the tool right now that we're giving to you. So we not only recommend these tools, we use them on a daily basis. If you want to get more reviews online and become known as that authority, that expert, you'll want to go to givermarketing.com/gbox. It'll point you to a third party that is extremely powerful in making it easy for your clients, friends, family, and neighbors to give you some kind words online. Did I say that in a succinct enough manner, Corey? Did I do okay on that one?
You bet. Absolutely.
Right. And people are trusting these online reviews more and more and more and more and more, and it's not going to change anytime soon. So we have clients who have hundreds and hundreds of reviews, and we have clients who just started and they're getting dozens. The key is to try to get through the double digits, like just start getting somewhere with those 5-star reviews coming in. And this is one of the reasons we're the highest rated in the country. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the good old fashioned, like physical location, signage, this kind of visibility, Corey.
Yeah.
The traditional. I mean, we've worked with a lot of churches, nonprofits, small brick and mortar businesses locally, and some franchises that are national as well. Let's just talk about this for a second. Is it better to have more information on a sign and just a bunch of information, or is it better to keep it simple and easy to see?
Well, signage was how people found us, our businesses before social media, right? Maps
Mhm.
and yellow pages and different things. But then when you actually go to places, having clear signage is key. It is definitely, depending on, I would say, Tim, to answer your question specifically, it depends on what you're trying to do and what your goal is with those signage is. If more information is going to be important, I think that the location of it. So clear signage that's further out for people when they're looking for you, that is simpler, is better. But then when people actually walk up to your business, or or whatever it is that they're walking up to be able to find you, if you need to post some kind of disclaimer, or at the time of this recording, there's a lot of pandemic related things happening, right? And a lot of guidelines, and so that is signage that can be posted on your windows to let people know what's going on. So it does depend, but at a kind of a macro level, having clear, simple signage that people can easily find you, that is the key, so that people don't just blow right past you and you want to actually be found.
I love how you said that. So the initial signage that they might want to see on your vehicle or out in front of your building, or even on a billboard or whatever, it should probably be so clean and simple and short, to the point that you can see it in a matter of like a half a second, right? I mean, you just
Exactly.
understand what's going
Yep.
on.
Yep.
And if you're driving 60 miles an hour and you happen to see something on the on the side of the road or something, you probably should know at least what it says, right? Or what it is or something,
Note
right?
on that too is that there's a whole science behind size of letters, visibility compared to how fast people are driving at the distance that they are driving away from. So when you do make signs and get billboards made and all that kind of stuff, make sure that you work with somebody that knows what they're doing to make sure that you're getting the optimal viewing.
Let's move on to promotion. All right, so promotion, Corey. I'm just going to rip through a couple of these things, and for
Good.
sake of time, because I want to leave. We always love to have good questions and answers toward the end here. So, look, it doesn't matter as much whether you're on every form of promotion. I mean, it could be a billboard, it could be other things. The key is promotion matters. Okay, so when we promote anything, let's get some acrostics going. Let's get the pen and paper out and let's have some fun with some acrostics. Everybody likes a good acrostic. Let's dive into it. So if you're promoting something, if you don't remember anything else, remember this: you need to inform, give a call to action, and then engage. If you can do those three things, which happens to spell the word ice, and it's a really cool way to structure your campaigns. You like how I did that, Corey? Cool way.
Very good.
Okay, thank you so much. So anyway,
Very bad joke of you.
oh yeah, very punny for an old guy. I get it, but listen, if you inform well, you've gone a third of the way, and this is, I think, where most campaigns stop short.
Yep.
Then if you give a good, clear call to action, and by the way, we're not talking about a pitch here, it's just a call to action. It's just the next step. Then we're good to go on to what? Well, the holy grail of marketing is engagement right now. I mean, Corey, you're the social media, Vicky, you're the social media gal. Like when it comes, we're all social media people. At the end of the day, we have to engage with forms that people are filling out, social media posts. We could get all into that for hours, in which we do in a couple of weeks. But listen, informing is the monologue part. Call to action is just the next step. And engagement is where the real gold is. This is where your relationships are built. The trust is built. If you want to look more into that, we're going to talk about kind of a nurturing system in a minute, which dovetails right into this. But listen, don't gamble. Measure your results. Start with a goal in mind, then work backwards, and track everything. Corey is famous for saying, hey, marketing is a series of experiments: research, test, change, repeat. We do it all the time. This presentation today has been improved. I wrote down some notes as we were doing it that are going to take us from good to great and just continually improving. There's nothing wrong with making a mistake here and there. You just got to learn from it and move on. Here's another acrostic. Let's get crazy with it, okay? If you want to evaluate your promotional strategy, the components and the pieces are usually going to fall under one of these categories, if not multiple categories, okay? So if you write out the word report, you're going to notice that R could stand for referrals, E, events, P for print, O for online, R for radio and podcast, T for television, okay? That makes it clean, simple, easy to remember to some degree. If you're looking at referrals, set aside 10% of your marketing budget, your resources for referrals. This is the lifeblood of any viable, long-term, sustainable business, period. Gotta rock and roll with referrals, okay? If you don't have an actual referral reward system where you can track and see where these referrals are coming from, who's introducing you, we do something called referral ping pong within our company, just super fun, okay? So events, when it comes to events, whether you're the keynote speaker or not, if you're just in the room, offer high value somehow. We know some people who stand at the front of the door of an event and welcome people as if they were asked to be a greeter. If you're that assertive, then do it. Like, have some fun with it. All they can say is, "Hey, sir, we'd like you to go sit down," or something. Like,
can you not be a greeter, please? Can you not welcome people?
Yeah, exactly. Like, can you not be a warm, welcoming face? Now, listen, you got to have a good attitude while you're doing all this stuff, but at the end of the day, get involved. If you're going to an event, you're not there as a spectator for the most part. I mean, goodness gracious.
I got a little hack for everybody on here. Something I alluded to earlier with events. If you go to an event and you're looking to network and potentially get some clients out of it, go to where the bar or the snack table is. Because what does everybody do? That is the first place they go. And then what do? They grab their drink, they grab their food, and they stand there for a second and look around and observe. That's where the introvert people typically go first. That's where people that want to just look at the whole room go first. And so if you're there, you can strike up a conversation super easily. So just a little hack.
Love it, Corey. Another little hack, just since we have so much time today. No, I'm just kidding. Real quick, if you're in a room of a handful of people or more, any amount of people, you can go on LinkedIn and find out who's in that room geographically and request a connection with them. You just have to dig a little deep and find out where that section of LinkedIn is. But you can literally get a digital connection with people, but geographically, just by opening up LinkedIn and go into the network section and just try to figure out where they are.
Yep.
Easy peasy to connect with people nowadays. Hey, print is not dead. It just needs to be extremely targeted and simple, like everything else we're doing. And you'll see dramatic results if you do it right. I mean, look at the Cow Appreciation Day at Chick-fil-A and some of those kind of things. 25% increase in foot traffic? Are you kidding me? If you're a storefront, to pay attention to places like Chick-fil-A and some of these other great brands that have gone outside the box and just had some fun with it. Online media posts, messages, email campaigns, digital ads, anything online should be considered, but definitely want to bring a specialist in to help, because the online world has become a sea of misinformation. Mm-hmm. So please be very careful with that. But when you're ready to do it, just put a few $100s aside. Let's test some of these mediums and some of these online platforms to see what's the best fit for you. I mean, we're seeing some traction with Nextdoor right now. TikTok's coming up the pipeline. Who knows how long it'll stay around, but listen, these platforms have millions and millions and millions of users on them, and you can target your conversations to your audience. Radio, podcasts. Hey, before you get on the radio, get yourself in a place where you're bringing high energy. And here's a clue. Try for interviews. The 30-second radio spots, we partner with national radio entities. So we're not against the 30-second spot or even the 1-minute spot, but you tell me, would you rather have a 5-10 minute interview or a 30-second spot on a radio station? How much is that worth? I mean, a 5 to 10 minute radio interview where you could tell your story, goodness, that's worth thousands and thousands of dollars depending on how many listeners they have. Okay,
Yep.
that's why going on podcasts and radio, the auditory side of marketing is just booming right now. It's huge. It's not going away anytime soon. It's actually growing exponentially fast. I'm sure Corey has some statistics on podcasts and things we can talk about later, but television, hey, just like radio, get your energy on, tell your story, include your call to action, and goodness gracious, ladies and gentlemen, get the video file to share on other platforms. Beg, borrow, ask, rip, do whatever you need to do to get that video file when you go on television. If you get your 1 minute of fame or your 10-minute interview on some Good Morning show or whatever you're doing, get the video file. Get a high quality version of that file and put it everywhere and repurpose it and splice it up and do all that. Corey can help you with more of that if you want to do that. Like Corey said earlier, marketing is more has to do with conversations, and sales has to do with the actual needed transaction that should happen. But they're like a right and a left arm. They're similar, but they're not the same. I played college baseball. If I throw a baseball with my left arm, it's a lot different than throwing it with my right arm. A lot different. They look similar, they kind of act similar, but they're different. Okay? Engaging, I told you another sports analogy coming up. Engaging prospects with continued intentional conversations is the goal. 80% of sales appointments occur after a minimum of 5 trust building interactions. It's more like 7 to 11. But we're just going to challenge you to have 5 touch points with people that you feel might be a good fit for your product or service. An introduction is your first touch point, so don't discount that. But here's a warning. Don't sell anything. Tell your story and get that contact information. If you can't find them on LinkedIn or Facebook or by Googling them or their website, then you're going to have to just straight up ask them for their information or a business card or something, okay? But generally, you can find most information online as long as you have like their first and last name, all right? And location. Brief email. Do not sell anything on email unless you have a list of over 1 million people. Okay? Great connecting, learn more, ask questions at the end of an email. Notice I didn't say don't market to people through email. I said don't sell through email. Okay, it's very different. Social media, friend connection requests, make and share content, reply to messages, friends. We do a whole, Corey does a whole training on this in a couple of weeks, so we'll have some fun with that. Step number 4 could be giving something of value, a physical gift. Tony reads on the training today. Tony sent me a miniature version of my 350Z. It was like a replica of my vehicle with my custom license plate on it. Tell me that's not the most amazing gift. I blew him up on social media. He ended up with clients and all the different things because of this kind of interaction, some ping pong, referral ping pong and all that. But listen, if you give something unique or valuable or memorable or interesting, you're going to be top of mind for months. Invite people somewhere like this masterclass. If you guys want a free pass, one pass, one free experience to this masterclass, just shoot a note to Corey. Shoot a note to me, and we'll get you guys a pass for one of your friends or business owner associates. Okay? Invite people to places like this. Whether it's in person or online, there's a lot more online options now. You just got to be careful that you're not getting pitched all over the place. Mm-hmm. You want to spend your time wisely. Personal notes, there's ways to do that on other platforms like Facebook. TikTok's coming up the trail with the youngsters now, and all sorts of platforms you can use these personal notes and really kill it. Text messages, snail mail. We use something called Banner Season right now to send out cards to people. I've sent cards with an actual imprint of a gift code sitting inside of the card. Just fun little ways to send personal notes, things like that. The almighty phone call, 2 options for next steps. And by the way, it's rare to see a true example of a sales call anymore. Really, when you're on the phone with people, you're just getting to know them. You're in a marketing process. You're in a nurturing process. Maybe a follow-up call is a more appropriate term. But a sales call, what are you doing? Trying to sell over the phone? I mean, it depends on what you're selling, I guess. But most products and services are not effectively sold over the phone unless you're working for Yelp. And if that's the case, I don't know. I mean, there's a reason they call him the $1 billion bully. So I don't know. So listen, we got to ask for the transaction at some point. So if you're reverse engineering anything, consider reverse engineering this. This is the closest thing we get to when it comes to sales. Find your good, better, best packages. Find your good, better, best products, services, packages, whatever it is. Find your good, better, best. Some people call them like silver, gold, platinum, or whatever, right? Find your 3 levels, your 3 tiers, and reverse engineer all your marketing for those packages, for those products. Look, even a loan officer has a good, better, best based on length of loan, interest rates. When somebody's showing a home in real estate, they're usually showing different tiers of homes. Like, think of it that way. Like, there's different tiers that I'm giving experiences to my clients. Okay?
Yeah.
That's it. Make sure you have a good, better, best, at least in your mind, and start developing your language around it, and move at the speed of trust, ask for the sale, and follow the roadmap. And everything will be blissful. It's hard work, ladies and gentlemen, but it's well worth it. We're seeing some benefits. It takes a little bit of time on the front end, but the rewards are massive.